Hey guys, Spencer here, and today we're doing a what if, and it's what if Deku was Midnight Sun? You know why? Because I thought as soon as just after I saw her fight Mineta, man, this bitch needs some kids so she's not as perverted. So, yeah. Um, Deku the Kid of Midnight, yeah. Um, I would see Midnight as like an actual caring mother because of how considerate a teacher she is. Um, so yeah, let's start based on that. So when Midnight finds out her son is quirkless, it's like, well, shit. I can't believe he's quirkless. And yeah, she treats him like a baby, not like she treats him like he's defenseless. So basically how Katsuki Bakugo treats him when yeah. Um One day walking home from school, Izuku or Deku was attacked by the sludge villain. Um and All Might came to save him like in canon, and after Izuku woke up from his passed out point, um, All Might says, "Hey, aren't you Midnight's kid?" And Izuku said, yeah, I am." And, he's like, "She told me you're quirkless, yes?" And Izuku's like, "Well, yeah, but what does that have to do with anything?" "That's a shame," All Might says. And, he says, "Well, I'll be seeing you." And Izuku grabs onto All Might's leg while he's jumping off, and this plays out similarly to canon. And he says on the rooftop, "Can I be a hero like my mom and you without a quirk?" And All Might puffs into his Small Might form and explains his injury after Izuku's like, "Wait, you're not All Might. Who are you?" And All Might says, "No, I honestly don't think you can be a hero without a quirk. Maybe focus on being a support hero because your mother told me you have such a bright mind." And, so he walks home and he hears an explosion in the distance. And it's Bakugo who, prior to that, bullied him because he's quirkless. And, Izuku tries to save him. And this inspires All Might, and All Might destroys the sludge villain. And after that, the pro heroes scold him for being so reckless, and and praise Bakugo for being so brave. And on his way home, Izuku gets stopped by All Might, and All Might says, "How would you feel if I let you have if I pass down my quirk to you?" And Izuku exclaims, "How does that work? You're not a parent of mine, so how can you give me a quirk?" And he explains one for all, and yeah, the training starts. Nemi, or Midnight as she's known, um, asks Izuku where he's going every day, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to hang out with friends." And Midnight says, "Okay, be back by whatever time she gives him." And well, well, he's actually going out to train with All Might. And eventually he gets the beach clean, and All Might teaches, and All Might gives him his quirk. Um, and he applies for the UA entrance exam. So, he's mumbling in the written exam, which gets Ida to yell at him. And Izuku says back to him, You're the one distracting the teacher, shut up." And, Ida shuts the hell up. And so Izuku gets the same amount of points as he does in canon for the entrance exam, written part and physical part. And in his room, he's waiting for the entrance letter, and on the day that it arrives, Midnight, or Nemi, if you want to go with actual names, is like, Izuku, the letter came. And she's smirking because she already knows he got in. And, he opens it and he's like, "Want to spill anything before I activate the holodisk, Mom?" And she's like, "No, you have to find out for yourself." And, All Might comes up, basically does the whole thing with Izuku, but instead of saying Izuku Midoriya, he says Izuku Kayama, because that's the last name he has in this one. And it's like, wow, I got in. And on the first day of school, his mom takes him to the class he has to be in because, well, she works at the school. And Bakugo's just like, "Oh, your mom took you here? How cute." While Ida's yelling at him for having his feet on the desk. And, only one other person in the class knows what it's like to have a pro hero as a parent, and that's well, two technically, because Ida. But that's, Todoroki, and his experience with his hero parent is very different from Izuku's. And I'm just gonna say that, Izuku already knows President Mike and, Aizawa, because, well, his mom went to school with them, and they're close friends. Yeah. And, the day goes by as usual. I'm gonna say that Izuku learns full Cowling a lot earlier, like sports festival arc. Um, and you know what? Let's just go to the USJ arc immediately because I don't want to do the heroes versus villains training. Because it would be very similar. The USJ arc, basically goes pretty much the same until the pro heroes, until the UA teachers arrive, when, Midnight comes to Izuku and says, "Are you okay? You didn't get hurt or anything, did you?" And then she sees his broken fingers and she sighs and takes him to Recovery Girl because caring mother and all that, yeah. And yeah, that's basically how the USJ arc went. And I'm gonna say that Ida, Bakugo, and Izuku get along very well because they both have pro heroes in their family. And what's next? It would be the sports festival arc. So Izuku learns full Cowling on the obstacle race part, and before we get to that, he's just like, "Great, my mom's the referee for this year's sports festival for the first years," and everyone's just like, "Midnight's your mom?" And he's like, "Yeah, I thought that was obvious. You know, black hair, blue eyes." And it's just like, "Oh, now I see it." That's what the classmates say, and it's just like, "Geez, you guys are stupid." So, Izuku learns full Cowling at the beginning of the obstacle race, and he jumps from wall to wall in the hallway, somehow learning full Cowling during. And, I'm gonna say he finishes second this time instead of first. Because I don't want him to be a target. That's the main reason. So, that would mean either Bakugo or Todoroki get first, so one of them are going to be the target. But either way, Izuku goes with Todoroki, Ida, and Momo, because I don't want him to be with Mei Hasume. Jeez, she's a fucking crazy bitch. Sorry for profanity. And they come first in the cavalry battle, and next comes the fight tournament, and I'm gonna say everyone's the same in the fight tournament because why the hell not? And first up, it's Izuku versus Shinso. And Izuku, knowing Shinso's powers prior to Ojiro warning him, decides to stay silent even though he's insulting Ojiro. And Izuku just pushes him out of the ring, or arena, and Izuku wins that battle. And then the rest of the ones play out like in canon, except Todoroki and Izuku's one, where Izuku still lost, but he didn't break a single bone in his fingers. Which is fun. And he got Todoroki to use his fire as well. And so the sports festival ends. Izuku gets a internship with Gran Torino because I don't want to change that and I'm too lazy to change it. Everyone gets the same internships and yeah. Then the Hosu City arc, the Stain arc, happens, and Izuku saves Ida from Stain, like in canon. And yeah, it plays out pretty similarly. And yeah. So next up would be the students versus teacher arc. So students versus teacher arc would go relatively similar, except it's Mineta and Izuku versus Midnight, and Sero and Bakugo versus All Might. Because, one thing, I wanted Izuku to face off against his mother. That is the only reason I'm putting him with Mineta, not because I want Mineta to be creepy towards Izuku's mother and Izuku knocking him clean out. Which is going to happen either way. So, in their fight, Izuku... So, Mineta's automatically being perverted, and Mineta's like, we need to tear your mother's hero suit apart, and Izuku just knocks him clean out in the beginning of the battle so that he fails. And, he just outsmarts his mother because he's been training with her since a young age. And, he passes. And Bakugo and Sero... You know what, I'm gonna say Bakugo and Sero fail. Because it's Sero. And Bakugo. Bakugo can't think of a strategy to save his life. I think we made a pretty substantial dent in the story. So that's where I'm going to end this out. So, thank you for watching. Subscribe. This has been Spencer.